Your encouragement means everything to us, so please give this video a like and consider subscribing to stay connected. We cherish every one of you. Share in the comments where you're watching from. We'd love to hear from you. I'm Ethan Carter, and I once believed my marriage was unshakable. That belief shattered in the most unexpected way, triggered by something so subtle, so easily missed, that most would dismiss it. The absence of a wedding band's imprint on a sun-kissed hand. It all started when my wife of 15 years, Clara, came back from what was supposed to be a bonding trip with her sister in Italy. She walked through the door glowing, her skin warmed by the sun, her hair tousled from the sea breeze, our children wrapped in her arms. At first, everything felt perfect. But when I pulled her into an embrace, something was amiss. Her smile seemed rehearsed, her eyes shining with a light that wasn't happiness. It was the kind that hides secrets. I pushed the unease aside, convincing myself I was overthinking, but a quiet ache settled in my chest. That night, after tucking the kids in, Clara drew me into our room with a playful energy that recalled our early years. She slipped into a bikini, joking that she'd brought the coast back with her. I laughed, pulled her close, and kissed her, the distance of days apart melting away. But as her bikini strap slid down, I noticed something odd. Her tan was seamless, no pale line where her wedding ring should have left its mark. Not even a faint outline. I held my silence, wanting to cling to the moment, to pretend everything was fine. But as I lay awake in the dark, staring at the ceiling, that small detail gnawed at me. Clara never took off her ring. She'd always called it a piece of her heart. What had changed? In the days that followed, more signs appeared. She clutched her phone like it held state secrets, her grip tightening when I was near. She'd giggle at messages she wouldn't reveal, brushing them off vaguely. While sorting laundry, she'd whisper, "I feel so free now," her eyes drifting to some far-off place. I overheard her quiet conversations with her sister, Lila, about another weekend getaway. Their hushed tones sent a shiver through me. I needed clarity. Against my better judgment, I installed a tracking program on our shared computer, something I never imagined I'd do. It quickly revealed her secret. A concealed email account under the alias Luna94, using our daughter's birth year as the password. What I discovered in those emails left me breathless. Hundreds of messages flowed between Clara and a man named Adrian Voss, a travel writer she'd met in Italy. At first, their exchanges were playful, compliments, witty remarks about books, but soon they grew deeply personal, filled with shared aspirations and plans to meet again. She called him my heart. They dreamed of a future together. Lila was involved, entangled with Adrian's friend Leo. The sisters had turned their trip into a hidden romantic escapade. I felt like I was drowning, but I held off confronting Clara. I wanted her to feel the weight of her deception, the helplessness, the raw exposure I felt. So I reached out to Lila's husband, my brother-in-law Owen. Over coffee, I laid it out. "I think our wives have betrayed us." He chuckled, thinking it a prank, but my face stopped him cold. "Say that again," he murmured. I showed him the emails, the photos, the plans for another getaway. His hands shook. "You have proof?" he asked. I nodded. That night, I stared at the framed photo on our nightstand. Our wedding day, Clara's eyes radiant with love. I remembered our vows. The day our daughter took her first steps, the vacations, the milestones. Then I looked at Clara, sleeping soundly, as if nothing was wrong. That's when Owen and I decided. No yelling, no tears, no chaos. We'd plan our response carefully, letting them walk into it blindly. We created a fake itinerary for their next wellness retreat, booking real hotel rooms under our control. We hired a private investigator, Lucas Gray, to equip the rooms with hidden cameras, track their movements, and collect irrefutable evidence. The final piece was Clara and Lila's father, George. He'd lost everything years ago when their mother cheated. He agreed to help, his silence heavy with old wounds. His eyes spoke volumes. He wanted truth, and this time, he wanted the betrayers to face the consequences. By Friday, our plan was ready. Clara and Lila were vibrant, their suitcases packed, their excitement infectious. They kissed the kids goodbye like devoted mothers off for a treat. Clara hugged me, whispering, "You've always believed in me, Ethan. That's why I love you." I smiled, kissed her cheek, and said, "Enjoy your weekend." The moment they passed through airport security, I called Owen. They're in the air, he said. Good. I'm at the hotel. Cameras are set. We flew to Boston the next day, posing as attendees of a business seminar. George joined us, silent on the flight, his hands clenched as he stared out the window. At the hotel, Lucas met us in a private room, showing us live feeds. Room 508, Clara with Adrian. Room 510, Lila with Leo. They laughed, touched, sipped cocktails, acting like smitten lovers, without a hint of remorse. George watched in silence, then left quietly. Where's he going? Owen asked. To reflect, I said. Or maybe to mourn. That night, Lucas delivered USB drives and detailed reports. Photos, chat logs, email screenshots, location data. One image seared into my mind. Clara slipping off her wedding ring and placing it on the nightstand. George returned late, his expression unreadable. Tomorrow, he said, we end this. The next morning, while the sisters dined out with their lovers, George visited the hotel gift shop, buying 3 stuffed animals and a green gift bag. I didn't understand their purpose until I saw the tags. To Mommy from Emma. To Mommy from Noah. They weren't gifts, they were emotional daggers. George had one final move. He brought the kids. My daughters caused this mess, he said. Let them face its price. At 1:30 p.m. Lucas texted. They're back. It's go time. We stood outside room 508. I looked at my daughter, Emma. Whatever happens, be strong. She nodded. I knocked. Room service. No answer. I swiped the keycard. The door opened. Chaos erupted. Clara jumped from the bed, clutching a sheet. Adrian stood frozen, shirtless, phone in hand. Emma's voice cut through like lightning. Mom, what's going on? Clara's eyes widened, meeting mine. I held steady. George stepped forward, phone recording. A process server followed, handing Clara an envelope. You've been served. Clara stammered. Ethan, please, this isn't. I stopped her. You threw away 15 years for a fling with a man who doesn't know your favorite song. Adrian stepped forward, but George's stare halted him. You broke your family, George said. This is my concern. I gave Clara one last look. I hope the glow was worth it. Then I walked away. We left that room like pallbearers at a funeral. Clara's voice echoed, calling my name, but I didn't look back. Not even when Emma gripped my hand and whispered, Is Mommy coming home? I knelt down. She made her choices, sweetheart. Now we make ours. Down the hall, Owen stood before room 510. His son Liam, only 6, clutched a stuffed rabbit and a handmade card. His face lit up as he whispered, We're surprising Mommy, right? Owen's jaw was so tight I thought it might break. He nodded and knocked. Lila opened the door, a towel wrapped around her, hair damp. Liam, what? She began, but Liam ran in laughing. Surprise? Then he saw Leo shirtless on the bed. The silence that followed could have shattered glass. Lila's face collapsed. Owen, I can explain, she said, voice trembling. Owen ignored her, turning to Leo. Get dressed. You have 10 seconds, or I won't be responsible for what happens. Leo scrambled, grabbing clothes. Lila stepped between them. Not in front of him, please. Owen's voice was cold. You didn't care who saw when you were whispering his name. George entered, his tone icy. My grandson's first hotel memory will be his mother's betrayal. That's your legacy. Well done. A process server handed Lila an envelope, took a photo, and left. You've been served. Back in our suite, I sat on the bed's edge while the kids played, unaware of the emotional devastation around them. George stood by the window, staring at Boston's lights. I failed them, he murmured. No, I said. They failed you. He shook his head. Their mother taught them loyalty is fleeting, love a transaction. I tried to correct that, but some scars outlast a father's care. His voice cracked, and I saw George cry for the first time. Not at his wife's death, not through years of struggle, but now. That's when I knew our plan was just the start. Back in Portland, I filed for emergency custody of Emma and Noah. Clara called 41 times in 4 days. I didn't answer. Her voicemails ranged from tears to anger to desperate pleas. I forwarded them to my lawyer. At school, rumors spread. Friendly smiles turned distant. The story leaked. fueled by an anonymous email George sent, with one photo. Clara's bare finger captioned, "What a loyal wife forgets in betrayal." Clara's world unraveled. She was removed from her nonprofit board, excluded from the school's parent group, and shunned by her former friends. Her social media, once a gallery of perfect family moments, went silent. Then came George's final act. He revised his will, redirecting the family trust to the grandchildren, naming Owen and me as sole trustees. When Clara learned of it, she pounded on my door frantic. "You turned him against me," she shouted. "No," I said calmly. "You did that yourself." Tears streamed down her face. "I messed up, Ethan. I love you." I never stopped. I crossed my arms. "What's Adrian's favorite book?" She froze. "The Man You Love So Much." "Tell me." She shook her head, broken. "Don't call it love," I said, shutting the door. That night, alone in the kitchen, I stared at the chair where Clara once sat each morning. I didn't feel triumphant, only free, not from the marriage but from the deception. Weeks later, Clara moved into a small apartment across town. Its clean walls hiding a deeper chill, remorse. She saw the kids every other weekend, trying with movie nights and games, but children sense truth. Emma began calling her Clara, not Mom. Noah asked, "Why doesn't Mommy wear her ring?" I said softly, "Sometimes grown-ups forget what matters most, but will always love you." The words nearly broke me. At school, Emma got into a fight. A kid called Clara the tan line mom from social media. Emma's shove left the girl with a bruised cheek. The principal lectured me on discipline. I let him talk, then asked, "If your mother broke your life for a fling, what would you push?" He had no response. Emma was suspended for 2 days. We went fishing instead. Clara called that weekend. "I won't defend it," she said. "Then why?" I asked. "Why laugh with him while I raised our kids?" Her voice cracked. I felt unseen, Ethan. He saw me, not just a mom or wife, but a woman. "You were always a woman," I said. "You just stopped being my wife." She sobbed. "I hate myself. I miss our family. I wake up wishing I could undo it." I listened, then said, "I forgave you the day I saw the emails, not for you, but so your betrayal wouldn't define me." She fell silent. "Are you with someone?" she asked. "No," I said, "but I see a survivor in the mirror now, and that's enough." Owen and Lila's divorce turned vicious. Lila fought the asset division, clinging to hope of reconciliation. Owen stood firm. Then he revealed a USB drive with a recording of Leo, no travel writer, but a hustler who targeted married women. In court, the judge granted Owen full custody. Lila moved to her mother's. I started writing to cope, the words becoming pages, then a book. No trace, no oath. Overcoming my wife's betrayal. George read it and cried. "You turned pain into purpose," he said. A small publisher offered a deal. The book was honest, raw, neither condemning nor excusing Clara, just the truth. Then, Adrian's wife sued Clara for defamation, emotional distress and professional ruin, having lost her career and marriage. Clara called desperate. "They'll take everything. I can't afford a lawyer." "Sell your apartment," I said. "Maybe then you'll know what losing a home feels like." I hung up. I stayed civil for the kids, handling emails about schedules and activities, nothing more. On our anniversary, Clara emailed. 15 years ago, I wore white. You smiled as I walked to you. Your hands shook." I didn't reply, remembering how easily she let another's hands take their place. Life moved on. At a bookstore, I met a widow. Her grief was different but familiar. "I envy you," she said quietly. "Your pain has a cause. Mine doesn't. That makes healing harder." Her words stayed with me. Maybe I was lucky in a way. Time passed. Life wasn't perfect, but it was steady. I made waffles, drove the kids to school, read bedtime stories. No deception, just healing. One morning, George visited looking lighter. "You broke the cycle," he said. "My daughters didn't, but you did." His words carried weight. Weeks later, at Emma's school recital, I saw Clara. She seemed diminished, faded.